Hey, welcome to the Micheaux Mission, Two Men, One Podcast. Every black film ever made. My name is Len, aka the Bat Tribble. And as always, I'm joined by my partner.
Hey, this is Vincent Williams.
Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we are kicking off, and I don't even know if Vince remembered this, but I did. We are kicking off the month of May, which means it's time for May I Have Another. When this Micheaux Mission purposefully selects films that maybe have a reputation of not being the best in black cinema.
Bitch that say Pittsburgh ain't part of this. I chose that before.
And totally unbeknownst to him, Vince has selected a film that is virtually synonymous with May I Have Another.
I vehemently disagree.
With 1978's The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh.
I'd already like to put in my official complaint about this. I object. You are out of order. This is all out of order. This is fake news.
No, it's not. It's May on the Micheaux Mission, ladies and gentlemen, coming your way. But first, as always, we'd like to get in touch with all of you by reading all of your feedback, your emails, all your thoughts and concerns that you send to us. And Vince, we got an email from Deborah Battle.
Hey, what's up, Deborah?
Says, listening to the podcast and laughing at your jokes about Helen Martin made me look up how old she really was when she was on most of her TV shows.
She wasn't even that old. How old was she?
Finding out that Helen Martin, who was one of the co-stars of last week's movie, A Hero Ain't Nothing But a Sandwich, finding out that she was born in 1909. Yeah, right? And had
that is ridiculous.
And had
she was born before the color orange. When I was a little itty bitty child, red and yellow was separate. We weren't allowed to put them together.
Get in this house. You out here mixing colors.
Out here mixing colors.
She's older than orange.
That's terrible. That is terrible.
Oh God.
You had to pick red or you had to pick yellow. Those are only choices that a black person had.
There ain't no in between.
Ain't no in between.
And then Helen Martin was born.
All these afros and civil rights.
Anyway, let me continue. All right. Finding out that she was born in 1909 and had a long history in theater and Broadway, and as one of the and was also one of the founding members of the American Negro Theater. I think we pointed it out the last.
Yeah, I was about to say we did know that. Yeah.
In the early 70s, Helen was a cast member in the musical Raisin, based on the play Raisin in the Sun.
Oh, did not know that.
Other members of that cast were Joe Morton, who is famously the star of Brother from Another Planet.
Mm-hmm.
And a big-time character actor on TV and in movies. Ralph Carter.
Which we have talked about because the first...
Go ahead.
Michael on the first couple of seasons of Good Times would say, and somebody who is in this film tonight, did she list the entire cast?
And Debbie Allen.
That's right. Debbie Allen was in Raisin.
Who and also shows up in The Fish That Saves Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. She continues. Cecily Tyson who was also in A Hero Ain't Nothing But a Sandwich. Also had a long career in theater and TV and didn't get the big roles in the movies. She was on a lot of TV shows in the 60s, but in the 80s, she married Miles Davis and let
Yep.
her acting take a back seat in her life. It was not until the 90s that she would make a real comeback with with TV and more theater roles. I did not know that she was married to Miles Davis for a time.
Yeah, she's actually on the cover of, I believe, Nefertiti, the album Nefertiti, and Pearl Clege's book Mad at Miles.
Mm-hmm.
I think the title refers, Miles Davis, unfortunately, was he was a domestic abuser, and he used to hit Cicely Tyson.
Oh, really?
And because Cicely Tyson was his most famous mate, she's the person that most people know about when they talk about Miles Davis, just not being a cool guy.
Mm. Okay.
So unfortunately, that's why most people who know that they're married know that they were married because of that. Yeah.
Okay, I got you. Oh, that's a shame.
I didn't mean to bring down the room, but Miles Davis and Cicely Tyson is not a cool story.
Gotcha. Well, unfortunately, the thing is, outside of the music, what you learn is that there's not a lot of cool stories revolving around Miles Davis.
No. I mean, not to stay here, but Miles Davis really is the sort of conversation ender. Mm-hmm. When you talk about, like the conversations we've had over the past 5-6 years about people like R. Kelly, people like Michael Jackson, people like, frankly, David Bowie. And I think it's easy to kind of sit on a moral high horse with certain people. Like, frankly, I know the Chris Brown conversation. Mm-hmm. Like, it was very easy to be, we need to, as they say, cancel Chris Brown, because a lot of people who were saying the Chris Brown stuff didn't listen to Chris Brown.
Right.
And, and even R. Kelly, like once you get into the R. Kelly territory, it's like, step in the name of love. And if you like just spectacle, like I was a fan of the Trapped in the Closet stuff just because it was ridiculous. But it wasn't hard to say, I'm not rocking with R. Kelly.
That's true.
But then the pool starts getting deeper, and then you get into Michael Jackson, then you get into David Bowie. And then as soon as you hit Miles Davis, I just have to be quiet.
Yeah.
As they say, all your faves are problematic.
That's right. That's very true. Very true. Which will play out later tonight with our review.
You got something crazy to say about James Bond III? James Bond III did some sketchy stuff. James Bond III was doing like tax evasion.
Let me continue. George Kimona was listening to our episode on A Hero Ain't Nothing But a Sandwich.
What's up, George?
As he always does, he was listening to it on SoundCloud. He left a couple of comments. In regards to the early part of the episode where we were speaking about Black AF.
Right.
He says that he wanted to like it too, but fell asleep on the first episode and just never went back.
Yeah.
Not a fan of that show either. And he also, it says, talking about all of the things that you've been watching, Vince, as opposed to watching, newer things or things that knocking stuff off your checklist. He says, Vince, I completely understand. I got sucked into a Wire rewatch.
Yeah. Wire pull you in. The Wire will pull you in.
You don't mind it because it's such good stuff.
I know. All
right, let's see what's happening. Hey, Vince, the trailer for Lovecraft Country this week.
Man, I am looking forward to this. I've been looking forward to this since they announced it.
Lovecraft Country, which is an upcoming fantasy horror television series on HBO, ladies and gentlemen. It's destined to debut in August of this year. It is produced by Jordan Peele, Misha Green of Underground fame, as well as J.J. Abrams and Ben Stevenson. And it is a show that follows Atticus Black as he joins up with his friend Letitia and his uncle George to embark on a road trip across 1950s Jim Crow America in search of his missing father. And from there, it dips into some eerie things this movie stars.
Series, not movie.
Oh, series, excuse me.
Yeah, it is a series.
The series stars Anjanae Ellis, Michael Kenneth Williams, Abby Lee, Journey Smollett Bell, and in the lead role, straight from The Last Black Man in San Francisco, Jonathan Majors. And also features Courtney Vance is also featured in it as well. You're looking forward to this, right, Vince?
Yeah. It's based on a novel. It was actually one of my favorite books last year. And
really?
Yeah, it was one of my favorite books. And if you know anything about me, this doesn't sound like something that I'd necessarily sign up for. Like, it's a period piece.
Mm-hmm.
And, Lovecraft obviously is a reference to H.P. Lovecraft.
Right.
So it's the horror element,
mm-hmm.
but that's just how good it is.
Yeah.
That's just how good it is. And like I said, I think it's a killer cast. It's funny. I think I didn't know that Anjanae Ellis was in it.
Yeah.
That's quite a get. Did you watch the Clark Sisters?
I did not. I've not seen that yet.
She destroys her role in the Clark Sisters.
That's what
I mean. She's always good. Yeah, she's always good. But as Maddie Clark, she is amazing.
Yeah.
So that's just yet another reason I'm looking forward to this. Yeah, looking forward to this a lot.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about the book. I do remember when they had mentioned that this project was going to come be making its way to HBO, and just the people behind it made it interesting to me. And now seeing the trailer, I'm all in. I am all in on Lovecraft Country. I can't wait. I mean, I'm just mad that I got to wait till August.
I know, but I think it'll be worth the wait.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm looking forward to that. In the Facebook group, ladies and gentlemen, where each and every day, all of you are giving us your little shout outs and dropping little tidbits and news and thoughts and concerns, and we appreciate it all. Speaking of, George Kimono also posted on there that it looks like All Rise is going to be doing a virtual episode about the pandemic impact. So Simone Missick's CBS show is going to be coming back to, the screens pretty soon. Looking forward to that. We've been missing that for a little bit. There was something else I saw in here. Hey, Vince, how did you celebrate May 4th? Or as I should call it, May the 4th be with you?
I did not.
You did not?
I think the day just sort of slipped away from me.
Yeah, me too.
Like, the day just sort of slipped away from me, and I'm not a big enough Star Wars fan that I stopped everything. So I actually did. Usually me and my daughter will watch something.
Mm.
And just with everything that's going on, like, we looked up and the day was gone.
Steve Tozen hit us up.
Oh, that's the end of our thing. I guess you didn't do anything either.
No.
You just Bryant Gumbled, may the 4th be with you. Moving on.
Hey, the Micheaux mission is a Star Trek house. We mention Star Wars out of respect.
Hey, man.
And then we keep moving.
You know what? That's going to be important in a moment.
All right.
Yeah.
Steve Tozen hit us up. saying how we primarily watch content on Roku, which will show one solitary ad while you scan the channels. On one random Saturday evening, the ad posted was for a movie starring Richard Pryor and Billy D. Williams called Black Brigade. I thought of the Micheaux mission immediately, and I checked the group as well as the webpage to see if it had been reviewed, and it had not. The ad from the channel the ad came from a channel called Jive Turkey, which, with a name like that, I had to at least take a cursory look at their movie lineup. Jive Turkey is full of the requisite black movies from the 70s, such as the aforementioned Black Brigade, which was originally released as Carter's Army when it was broadcast on ABC in January of 1970. Ganja and Hess, Dynamite Brothers, and the entire Black Cobra quadrilogy are on Jive Turkey. It took me, I'm sorry.
There were 4 Black Cobra films.
Who knew?
Let's let that kind of sit there for a second.
Also on Jive Turkey, you can find not 1, not 2, but 4 Italian-made movies starring Fred Williamson as a rogue detective. That's the Black Cobra series. Surprisingly, this post is not about those movies. Jive Turkey also had a host of grindhouse films, non-Shaw Brothers kung fu movies, and I noticed a couple of movie posters with actors' names that I didn't recognize, nor could I easily determine their origin. So I clicked on one called Joe Bullet and was greeted with a message from one of the movie's production companies, Gravel Road. Ready to hear the rabbit hole? Oh my God. Oh my, it's almost done, Vince.
Because I'm back at the Italian films that Joe Williamson was making that I just found out about 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
I mean, Fred Williamson. Go ahead.
Joe Bullet was produced in 1971 and was one of the first South African films to feature an all-African cast. In 1973, it was independently released in the Micheaux Cinema in Soweto. Shortly thereafter, the film was banned by the apartheid government and was never screened again.
Oh, it was too black, too strong. Too black, too strong.
And he goes on to give us the entire story of the Joe Bullet saga.
Okay.
It's very interesting. You have to check it out. The post is in our Facebook group, ladies and gentlemen. So check that out. Steve Tozen's little gives you the history on Joe Bullet, and also sends a link where you can see the movie trailer.
All right. Good looking out, Steve.
So thank you very much. Let's see. Music manager Deb Atney says love and hip hop makes black women look disgraceful. Wow.
Okay. Okay.
Tell me something we didn't know.
Right.
You know, I mean, come on. Let's get serious. All right. And I'm trying to see what else is there in our Facebook group. Did you see Locked Down with Robert Townsend? They did an interview. Shadow acted an interview with Robert Townsend about his career.
I haven't watched it yet. I have it bookmarked though.
Yeah. And if you haven't seen it, ladies and gentlemen, it's right there on our Facebook page where you can check it out. It's Shadow and Axe Locked Down with Robert Townsend.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Joe Oberto has a question for you, Vince.
Okay, hey Joe.
Excuse me, John Obito. Excuse me.
Hey John.
Mispronounced the name. What meaning did you read in Robert Downey Jr.'s role in Tropic Thunder?
Oh yeah, I saw this conversation. This is a neat conversation. I forget who posted this answer, but I agreed with them that I never thought that it was blackface per se.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was satire.
Yes.
And commentary on blackface.
Yes. That's exactly how I felt about it as well.
Right.
That's
Right. I'm actually a fan of Tropic Thunder.
Oh, I'm a huge fan of Tropic
Yeah,
Thunder.
I'm actually a fan of Tropic Thunder.
His Sergeant Lincoln Osiris.
Right. Exactly.
I mean,
Like Dave Chappelle has talked about it. Like, you can always tell these black characters that somebody white came up with their name.
Yep.
Lincoln Osiris. Like, really?
Most definitely. Nia Smith says,
or I'm sorry. Go ahead. Never mind.
Go.
No, never mind. Go ahead.
John Obito says that. Well, excuse me. Ken Garf says it was funnier than it had any right to be. I should have been offended to hell and back, but I genuinely laughed and thought his performance made the movie worth watching. To which Nia Smith says, I completely agree. One of my guilty pleasures is a behind-the-scenes mockumentary feature that was done on his character. I think that's included on the DVD.
Now that's the second thing I have to hunt down.
I'm about to say.
The first thing I have to hunt down. Did you see that there's a novelization of The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh?
A novelization of
There's a novelization based on the original script where there have been some slight changes.
Oh my God. Are you serious?
I read it and I said, yep, need to find that. But we'll talk about that. I'm jumping ahead.
That is the color of BS. That is definitely the color of BS. All right. Let's see. All right. There's a ton of commentary going down here in a Facebook group. People have been having fun. Oh my God, there's posting about the Wire podcast that Jamel Hill and Van Lathan are doing, which is getting a lot of props right now. A lot of people are loving that. Was there anything in here that you wanted to cover real quick, Vince, before we get to our review? There was a Fresh Prince reunion. Oh my Jesus.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm ready to go to Pittsburgh.
Well, I don't know if you've heard, Vince.
And perhaps call Child Protective Services. Right, my 4-year-old said, "Where's his daddy?"
Well,
roaming around in the middle of the night, and Adam was concerned that there were no parents around to protect him.
I think some of that is explained, though, isn't it?
I mean, his sister was raising him.
Yeah.
But she had a whole lot of slick talk for Moses Guthrie, for somebody who really wasn't overseeing her 14-year-old brother's life that well. I said, wow, she's talking real disrespectful to Moses for somebody who doesn't know where her brother is half the time. The only way he's going to get into college is if he has good grades. I'm like, yeah, if he doesn't get kidnapped and human trafficked. There no adults watching this boy ever.
Yeah, she was.
But I'm skipping ahead.
She's a little suspect. We invite you, ladies and gentlemen, listening in at the podcast, to join the Facebook group Micheaux Mission, where we have a lot of fun talking back with all of our missionary fans, and like and follow the Micheaux Mission on all the social medias. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, at Micheaux Mission. Check us out. And don't forget to go to our website, micheauxmission.com, and where you can buy some swag, because that helps our show and helps us keep the show free for you. All right? Let's get into our review of 1978's The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh.
Hey, have you heard? It's the fish that saved Pittsburgh. Oh,
Whoa,
oh,
whoa, hey,
spread the word. It's
it's
the
the
fish that
fish.
saved
It's
the
just the
word.
fish. Yeah, it's
It's the fish that saved Pittsburgh. Whoa, whoa. I guess we
the
should talk
fish.
about.
The fish that saves Pittsburgh. The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh, which was an American sports fantasy comedy film.
Oh, we're calling it
Wikipedia
fantasy. We're calling it fantasy.
lists this as fantasy.
Okay, fantasy. They don't believe in the power of astrology. This was a going concern in 1979.
It's American sports fantasy comedy. Oh, and they're calling it a comedy.
And they're calling it a comedy.
Released in 1979, the movie, directed by Gilbert Moses, filmed on location in Pittsburgh, follows the story of a struggling basketball team, the Pittsburgh Pythons, whose continuous losing streak and lack of talent has made them the laughingstock of Pittsburgh. Believing that the team needs a miracle, ball boy / water boy Tyrone Millman, played by James Bond III, turns to astrology to improve the team's fortune. He brings his idea to astrologer Mona Mondu, played by Stockard Channing, and they come up with the perfect concept: a team composed entirely of players born under the astrological sign of Pisces, the star sign of superstar player Moses Guthrie, who is portrayed by professional basketball player Julius Dr. J. Irving.
Yes, sir.
Thus, the team is reborn as the Pittsburgh Pisces, and hijinks ensue in this 1979 fantasy comedy that was Vince's selection to kick off our month of May I Have Another.
No. That is not why I chose it.
Vince, what say you of your subconscious pick of
You know
the
what?
Fish That Saved Pittsburgh?
You know what, Lynn? I'm not even playing with you with this. Because how much do I love this dumbass movie? Let me just tell you my history with this movie.
Please.
We usually do, as you just said, this came out in 1979.
Yes.
I'm going to go a little further. This actually came out on November 6th, 1979.
Okay.
This is important because on November 6th, I had no idea this film existed. I knew nothing about this film. I'd never heard about this film. I had just turned 9 years old, didn't know anything about this film.
Okay.
But do you know what 9-year-old Vince already was? And we just talked about it. I was a Star Trek fanatic.
Okay.
I was a Trekker already at 9. I watched the reruns. I watched the cartoons. If anyone has listened to this, you know this is one of the many things you and I have in common.
Very much so.
On December 7th, 1979, Star Trek The Motion Picture came out.
Oh, okay.
Just over a month after The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh came out.
Right.
Opening weekend, I was super excited about this. Lynn, you remember there was this huge buildup. Those of you that don't know, Star Trek had gotten canceled, and for over 10 years, there was no Star Trek stuff. Like, it's not like now where you know, it's like there's always a show and there's a movie every couple of years. There have been no new Star Trek material for over a decade.
That's right.
Everything came together. Star Trek The Motion Picture came out. If you love Star Trek, this was a huge deal.
It's all you were waiting for.
The weekend it came out, my dad said he was going to take me to go see Star Trek.
Okay, good father.
Yes, you know, my dad, we're gonna go see Star Trek, and you know, like not to go too far down the rabbit hole. Like usually we went to the movies because it was three of us. We'd go to the drive-in
Okay.
because there was three kids,
Right.
and so you know they weren't taking all the kids to the movies. So like this is one of the very few times that like I could go to the movies by myself. Me and my dad. A couple other times, like when my cousins were born, and my mother went to visit my aunt, it would just be me and my dad. And he'd like I saw Smokey and the Bandit. I saw Cannonball Run in the theater, and it was a big deal. Like I could get popcorn, and it was a whole deal.
Okay.
Oh yeah, because when we went to the drive-in, did your mother used to pop the popcorn and bring it with you?
Yes.
And then put it in like the paper bag?
Yes.
Yeah. So you know, so I would get popcorn at the movies. Me and my dad going to see Star Trek. That Saturday, I never forget this as long as I live. I said, Dad, we need to go. We need to go ahead and go. It's going to be crowded. I want to see the previews. And sidebar, Lynn, you know I'm a preview dude now. Part of it is because of shucking and jiving with adults in my life when I was little.
And you missed the preview.
And I would miss the preview.
That's true.
Messing around with these people.
That's right.
Dad, we need to go. We need to go ahead and go. Get a seat. This is a big deal. Saturday, my dad, doing dad stuff. I don't know what he was doing. Get to Security Mall, which was our local mall where the theater was. Go up to the counter. Star Trek is sold out.
No.
Sold out. Get into Star Trek. Now then, like you said, my dad is a good dad, but he was a good 70s dad, which meant this is your 2-hour window right here.
You better choose something.
Right.
I see what it is.
Like this is your moment to go to the movies.
Hold up, Vince. You broke up there for a minute there. Start that up again.
My dad is a good dad, but he's a good 70s dad. This is your window right here for the movies. Star Trek is sold out. You want to see something else?
Oh, we going home.
Or are we going home? We go and yes, see the fish that saved Pittsburgh.
Wow. Okay.
Lynn, I was so angry. You know that kid angry? Like now that I have kids, like that pure anger that like a 9-year-old can have. I was so angry at my father for approximately 15 minutes. And I fell in love with this stupid ass movie. I really did. Like
you must have fallen in love with it, man. For you to get over missing Star Trek.
Look, Lynn, just to put a bow on that story, almost 40 years later, I've seen Star Trek the motion picture maybe 3 times.
And that's about too many.
It is laborious. It is slow. It is overwrought. It is overwritten. And it is dull. Say what you will about the fish that saved Pittsburgh. It is 142. It is 1 hour and 42 minutes. And it keeps it moving. Look, it keeps it moving. 25 minutes in, they're into the conceit. They pull together this oddball cast of basketball players. You tell them, hey, look, it's the astrological sign. It's a version of the Bad News Bears.
Yeah.
They go and they there's barely a complication. You know, and then it's the highlight of the Silvers come out, and they play Lynn when they brought the Silvers out for halftime in the big fish stick box.
Fish sticks Box.
Lynn, I was grinning ear to ear yesterday when they pushed the fish stick box out. And then it opened, and all 37 silvers. Why was there so many silvers?
I know.
Why was there so many silvers? It was 900 black people in the silvers.
And nobody playing an instrument. It's not like they were a band.
They were just doing choreography. They were just doing choreography. It was 900 black people doing choreography in the silvers. Look, all jokes aside, I think this is a surprisingly solid cast. We talked about it last week. Jonathan Winters is in this.
Yes. Jonathan
Stockard
Winters.
Channing is in this.
Stockard Channing.
Margaret Avery is in this.
A beautiful Margaret Avery.
Emmett Walsh is in this.
Mm-hmm. E. Emmett Walsh.
We were talking last week about Larry Scott, and you know what I was thinking? There was this period in the mid to late 70s where it really was this great crop of young black actors.
Yes.
Like Larry B. Scott, Rodney Allen Rippey, Ken Fields, Todd Bridges pre-Different Strokes, and James Bond III. Like, this is actually our third James Bond III film. Yeah. Because he was in School Days and he was in Death by Temptation. And we talked about him as an older actor, how it just seemed like it didn't really fit.
Yes, something's off.
But as a kid actor, look, nobody is really doing much in this film. Like this film moves. It's like eating Pop Rocks. Like something pops real quick and then it's gone. If there's an engine to this film, it is James Bond III. It is Stockard Channing being Stockard Channing in this role.
Yes.
Which I have to say, Lynn, for an embarrassing long time, all I knew about Stockard Channing was Grease and the fish that saved Pittsburgh. But I always really liked her. So, she's on, and then just the sheer unstoppable charisma of Dr. J, who Dr. J's whole purpose in this film is to be Dr. J. The story doesn't make a lick of sense. The story doesn't take the conceit that seriously at all. Like almost immediately it starts to fall apart. But it is in, it is out. I don't know what you're about to say. I don't care what you're about to say. Look, man, I love this movie. I do. I love this movie from the moment it starts to the end where, spoiler, the Pittsburgh Pisces win the championship. You got Debbie Allen for like 2 scenes doing Debbie Allen stuff.
Oh, Debbie Allen, yeah. I love it.
Go ahead, Lynn. Pee in my cornflakes, Lynn. Go ahead.
Well, here's what I'll say. I agree with you that one of the best things about this movie is James Bond III. Well, first of all, let me go back. Let me start. Since you gave your little history with this film, I'll give my history with this film. And my history starts, unlike you, because you're not a sports fan, my history starts with Dr. J. Julius Erving, for those who don't know, in the 70s, Julius Erving was Michael Jordan. Julius Erving was LeBron James in the 70s. Julius Erving was probably in the 70s, if you name the 5 most prominent sports figures in Black America in the 1970s, Julius Erving was in the top 5, right? That is how prominent he was as a sports figure, as a basketball star in the 70s, from starting in the ABA all the way to after he gets traded from the ABA shuts down, and he comes to the Philadelphia 76ers in 1976. And when he came to the Philadelphia 76ers, it was like all the stars were aligning in 76, because I was just being introduced to the world of basketball, introduced to a love of sports. And you had this figure who was not only a good basketball player, but he was a basketball player who performed feats akin to super heroics on the basketball court. Julius Erving was the person who taught Michael Jordan and all of the high flyers in basketball of today how to fly. He flew on the court. He was the man who was giving you the breathtaking dunks and acrobatic moves and scoring on the basketball court. He was the man who people were going. The Philadelphia 76ers were the biggest draw of the National Basketball Association from the mid 70s into the 80s, strictly because Julius Erving was on their squad, and people were going to the basketball stadium to see Dr. J. They didn't even care if their team won. They just wanted to see Dr. J, to say that they were in the building when Dr. J did X, Y, or Z. Dunked over Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, flew around the backboard from out of bounds to make a reverse layup. He was a man of miracles and stunning to watch, especially in his younger days when he had an afro that would just billow in the air as he would come in from the free throw line for a dunk. And Julius Erving stood next to my dad, William A. Webb Jr., and the mythological figure that is Batman as as the pillars of my existence as growing up as a young boy. Also because Julius Erving, unlike the drug-addled scene in the NBA of the 70s and 80s, was squeaky clean. He didn't do drugs. If he smoked, he didn't do it in public, and I don't believe he smoked. He was very particular and very deliberate about his speech and about the way that he came off on screen and in interviews and everything like that. He was very cognizant of his position as a role model for children, and took that very, very, very seriously, while still being this brother who had mad swag on the court and could do amazing, incredible things. So when I, in 1979, hear that Dr. J is now going to star in a movie, I'm like, oh my God. And it says it's the fish that saved Pittsburgh. Well, I don't understand why this wasn't done in Philadelphia, but okay, I'll ride with you. And I see the commercials for this movie. And this is not like today, ladies and gentlemen, when commercials were pretty much just, the whole trailer of a film. Back in these days, the commercial was about 30 seconds, and that was it of the film. So they just took a quick cut of this film. And if you're taking Dr. J and you're trying to sell a movie that is Dr. J as a basketball player, all you're seeing is Dr. J say, hey, I'm Moses. And then everything else is just dunks. Everything else is just Julius Erving just flying around the court. So I am in. And I, unlike you, Vince, am old enough that I can go to the movies by myself. So I trek to the movie theater with my buddy Richie, Boo Boo, Kevin C. Brooks, and my twin sister Leslie, because she had to hang with us. Because if I'm going, Les is going too. And we go to the Walton Theater with our $1.50 in hand, which means that we can get into the movie theater and we can also get popcorn and we can also get some soda, sit down, prepare to sit down to watch The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh at least 3 times in a row.
Okay.
On about the 5th go around, I said, now we've got to go out. I know all the moves. We can go and play The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh in the streets.
Okay.
That's where I come from with this movie. This movie was everything to me as a kid.
Okay.
Every freaking thing. Smartly, though, I've never watched the film since those 5 times as a young child. Until one day, fasting forward a little bit more, till I'm about, probably now in my 30s. And people are going on about Michael Jordan. And my nephews they love everything Michael Jordan. And Michael Jordan is repping for Dr. J. And they're like, my nephews, they remember Dr. J, but they don't remember Dr. J. And Jordan's got Space Jam coming out. So I say, I'll take y'all to go see Space Jam. But first,
I got your Space Jam for you.
Let me show you the original Space Jam.
Oh, no.
And I pop into the DVD player, The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Now, as I watched that film by myself, because my nephews gave up about 20 minutes in,
Philistines.
I quickly came to realize, wow, Dr. J can't act.
Hey,
I love Dr. J. I love myself some Dr. J. Dr. J is he's rough, dog. He's rough. James Bond III, he as a young boy, he's got the chops, he's got the looks. He comes off very naturalistic, a little too soft-spoken for me, but I feel him. He's the best thing going on here.
Okay.
Stockard Channing obviously realized, you know what? Let me just leave these awards at the door, and pick up this check, and just have some fun running around. She don't care. She's like, hey, whatever. She may be honestly in the movie for about 20 minutes. What does she care? So she's doing her thing.
Right. But then everybody is.
Everybody's doing their thing.
No, only in the movie for 20 minutes. Like, except James Bond III and Dr. J. Like, everybody just sort of pops in.
And that's the problem. Because everything is resting on the shoulders of James Bond III, a young boy who the film should not be resting his shoulders on, and Julius Erving, a charismatic figure on the basketball court.
Yes.
But a piece of a basketball court when asked to act as an actor. He just really lets this film down. And the proof of it, though, it starts with his first line reading. But the proof of it is that when he takes Margaret Avery, someone else who's just, she's young in this film. Margaret Avery is just a young love interest in this film. And he takes Margaret Avery, who has just chewed his head off.
She is so disrespectful. For
being a bad influence on her wayward brother, who she lets walk out the house to be the water boy for the Pisces whenever he wants.
And also apparently is running the Pisces.
Who, yes, apparently has the keys to everything, including Julius Erving's Rolls Royce, which he lets him drive. I don't understand this. But when Julius Erving pulls up to the outside playground with Margaret Avery, who has just lambasted him, and with a finishing line of, and you are ruining him with you being out there on the court, making all these plays and scoring all these baskets 2 at a time. And then Julius Erving says, "What's wrong with twos?"
Oh, I thought that was smooth. You crazy. I thought he was smooth.
Noah liked twos.
I don't appreciate that imitation of Dr. J being smooth.
Because he wasn't smooth. The lines are smooth. It actually is a cool line.
Yeah.
But Julius Erving don't get it over as he proceeds to take himself, his slacks, his white collar shirt and sweater.
And sweater. He had on a sweater.
And sweater. Here's the thing. If you notice, what he does is go do a bunch of trick shots on the basketball court as a way of making Margaret Avery's character fall in love with him.
One does.
And she does, because next we see they're kissing. But when he does this,
Dr. J.
But when he does this, he has on his slacks, he has on his white collar shirt, he has on his sweater, and he has the basketball that he has taken from his car. Yet he has found time to put on armbands. Why don't you take off the sweater if you're putting on the armbands?
That's what you question about this movie? The armbands? You don't question 14-year-old Tyrone on the mean streets of Pittsburgh in the middle of the night walking past prostitutes going to find a nighttime astrologer? That part didn't concern you? You didn't question his relationship with Debbie Allen and the various and sundry. I don't know if they had an affiliation with the Pisces. They just kind of showed up.
But no, Debbie Allen was a fan of the Pisces. She liked, her and her girlfriend, they liked basketball, so they would go to the basketball game to look at the guys.
Yes, they weren't affiliated with the Pisces though.
Well, they soon became, because Tyrone turned them into a dance troupe.
Right, because again, you don't have any questions about Tyrone's carte blanche with the runnings of a professional basketball team. Like Tyrone and the star player go to see the owner, and Dr. J says, "I'm gonna let Tyrone talk." Like, Tyrone is 14. Tyrone, the one putting together the blueprint.
Because he has the astrology chart.
When I was 9, this made perfect sense to me.
It did.
Because I was like, well, hell, I guess when you're 14, like, you almost grown. So it seems like this makes perfect sense. That Tyrone is just running the streets and reading books on astrology, and he's friends with grown women, and I mean, sure, he's 14. But now, as the father of someone who was just 14, I'm like, no, where's Child Protective Services? Or eating vegetables? Like, you're just eating fish sandwiches, and like, how much does Margaret Avery work?
But no, it was something about the armbands. The armbands.
That's That's where you're like, I say thee nay. I say thee nay.
I call shenanigans on the armband.
On the armband. That's the part. You didn't have any problem with the ragtag basketball team that had a stereotypical Indian, a man who went to prison, converted to Islam, but it was the kind of Islam that turns you into a sheik. Meadowlark Lemon as the preacher.
That's the other thing. Meadowlark Lemon, another
Wait
name.
a second. And then Freaky Deaky twins. What makes them Freaky Deaky? Well, they twins. What you guys say about Meadowlark Lemon? You about to say something crazy about Meadowlark Lemon?
Well, the only thing I'm saying about Meadowlark Lemon is that Meadowlark Lemon is another name that people may not know. He was in the 70s he was the huge basketball star of the Harlem Globetrotters, which are definitely still a thing, traveling comedy basketball troupe. And Meadowlark Lemon was the leader of the Harlem Globetrotters from the 60s well into the 70s, into the late 70s.
Oh yeah, he was very much the face of
right. He was the face.
Right, him and Curly
Neal, and to see him on the basketball court is to just be, just charmed by this man. And I thought this film, a lot of this film, like, defanged him a little bit. I was looking for more from Meadowlark Lemon, and he's in what is, always usually a very comedic role of like the preacher who was also a basketball player.
Because 1979.
Because 1979. But it just didn't wear well. Another person who is totally wasted in this film is Flip Wilson as the original coach of the Pythons.
I mean, he's in it for 45 seconds. Like, I couldn't even believe they put in the credits and Flip Wilson. He's in it for 45 seconds.
Yeah, he's not in it long at all. And you don't understand what his character is, because at one point he's mad at the players and he's screaming at the players, and then another point he's coming off like a sycophant to the players. I mean, it does like this wide, crazy leaps of going on in this film. It's a film. You're right. For the most part, it doesn't make a lick of sense. It doesn't make absolutely any sense. Stuff just happens very randomly. It almost feels like it was written on the fly, this film. But the thing is that as much fun as you want to have with it, even with the ragtag team as it is, I remembered the team playing more of a part in the film. And they really don't. Like, everyone has like maybe one quick moment,
Yeah.
But they really don't feel. You don't really feel they come together as a team. They have like a little quick. I mean, and when I say quick moment, their moments maybe last 10 seconds, and then they're off the screen, and you're back to Tyrone Julius Irving, who is just back. I mean, there's a scene where Julius Irving, as it's going to happen because he's a star, has to do like this rallying speech to the team. I swear I could see like the cue cards. I mean, it was horrible.
I'm a man and I'm going on the court.
And if you men too,
like I know you are,
you'll be there with me.
You leave Dr. J alone.
Vince, this movie, I really want to love this movie, especially because it's got everybody's favorite, Julius Carey.
That's right. I'm about to say pre-show no. That's right.
Malik Jamal Truth. He's in this
right.
film. And he doesn't even really have a moment.
I know.
How don't you give him a moment?
I know. Look. I ain't fighting with you about this. I love this movie though. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm not going to fight with you about the fish that saved Pittsburgh, but I love this movie. I will say this. It is so extraordinary that it's confusing how good the music is.
You're right. You're right. The music, because you have the Silvers, like you mentioned, they're in there.
And you have Tom Bell. Like, Tom Bell did the whole soundtrack. So it's like you said, the Silvers. You got the Four Tops. You got Phyllis Hyman.
Are Four Tops in it? I know the Spinners are in it.
The Spinners are in it, but the Four Tops are singing, like, they sing 2 or 3 songs in the film. Yeah, Giving It All You Got is the Four Tops. Mm-hmm. I think the Four Tops are singing Moses.
Are they? I don't think it's the Four Tops.
No, you're right. That's not them singing his song. But they sing. They have like 2 or 3 songs on the soundtrack.
Now I gotta look up the soundtrack.
Oh, you don't have to because I own it. Allow me to pull it up.
Okay. Please.
Since you asked. Yeah, the Four Tops do Chance of a Lifetime.
Oh, okay.
And I thought they did something else. No, you're right. You're right. It's the Spinners. It's Frankie Blue does Moses' theme.
Yeah, which is and
you're right. The Spinners do No One Does It Better, which is a song that's playing when Moses is wooing Margaret Avery through basketball.
Mm-hmm.
But then that's Phyllis Hyman singing Mona's theme song.
Now that you cannot miss Phyllis Hyman,
right,
on this soundtrack, and she gives an air of sensuality that is right. That this film does not warrant.
Nothing about it warrants any of this participation. Like, I joke, but the Silvers performance is easily the highlight of the entire film.
Yes.
So it's
hold up, you just broke up. We missed all of that. What did you just say?
I said, look, I don't know what to tell you. Like you said, nothing about this film warrants any of these singers' participation. Like, you get the sense that Tom Bell had been waiting all throughout the 70s to make a soundtrack. Mm-hmm. Like he watched James Brown and he watched Curtis Mayfield and he watched how did I just forget Shaft? Isaac Hayes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And he said, and now it's my turn. And like, Mr. Bell, blaxploitation is almost over. He said, no, I'm gonna take my shot. It's a great soundtrack.
It's a great soundtrack, and it's, as often the case, a great sound. Not every great soundtrack accompanies a great film, but this is a film, despite my feelings about it, is a film that has lived on in legend. There are people that love this film. There's actually a fishthatsaved.pittsburgh.com.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Why did this film almost make $100 million?
I know. Well, you know why? Because, like I said, one, Dr. J is, in 1979, he was the NBA. You gotta remember, for those who don't, to put it in context, Dr. J was easily the most flamboyant player in the NBA in 1979. This is the year before Magic Johnson enters the NBA. So at this point, Dr. J is the person that everybody is emulating. Everybody else in the NBA are good players, but there's only one superstar. There's only one dynamic superstar, and that's Dr. J. So he's going to put the butts in the seats.
And
go ahead.
No, I was just to add a bit of clarity that now I'm doing sports stuff because we're in the upside down place. Like you said, he came from the ABA, which was this other basketball team. But what made the ABA so famous is that it was a flashier type of basketball.
Yes.
and Dr. J kind of was. Is it fair to say he was the best thing to come out of the ABA?
Easily. He was a superstar in the ABA. He was a 2-time ABA champion. He led the
so he brought that right. So he brought that flash. He brought that style to the NBA.
Yes, and they didn't know what hit him.
Right, and I'm going to stop talking because all that sports talk almost made my head explode. But you know what? I didn't really like the I didn't really know anything about the ABA. But you know what I really love? Like, you know what I really like? What everybody loved about the ABA. The basketball. No, the basketball. Right, that red, white, and blue basketball.
Oh, yeah, most certainly. And they like the uniforms. The uniforms were dope. And, you can still buy Pittsburgh Pisces jersey on the internet if you want, ladies and gentlemen.
I know.
Because you don't have a jersey.
I don't have a jersey, but I actually ordered a T-shirt yesterday. Because I didn't know it existed. I didn't know it. Like, I thought I was the only one that loved this movie.
Oh, no.
Like, I found my people yesterday.
Here's the thing. I wouldn't want a jersey because I think wearing a basketball jersey is not, people are not into that too much anymore, right?
Right.
And a T-shirt is a T-shirt. What I actually did like returning to this film, I like their warm-ups.
How about that?
Those hoods.
With them hoods?
Them hoods that are almost like fins on.
Yeah.
Those jumps were kind of fly. I'm not even going to lie. They were fly. I was feeling
down in the balloon, which I thought was dangerous, and I couldn't believe that the insurance company signed off on it. But they came in the balloon that was shaped like a fish.
Yeah, that was a little much.
You're bugging.
That was a little much.
Fantastic. You're bugging.
I guess that was a fantasy element of the movie.
Oh, that part was. That part was. You didn't even mention the fact that Jonathan Winters played brothers. Hey, Len, ask me why Jonathan Winters played brothers.
Why did Jonathan Winters play brothers?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't understand any of that Jonathan Winters brothers part of the plot. Like, I didn't understand why the one brother was mad at the other one. I didn't understand the whole plan with kidnapping Mona. I just said, all right, yeah, sure, all right. Let's get to the silver.
It made no sense. It made absolutely no sense. And it's look. It was fun to go back. Had this little piece of nostalgia. The other reason why I was going to say why it made money is Dr. J put the butts in the seats. The basketball scenes are actually pretty good basketball scenes. As far as filmed basketball scenes, they definitely are pretty good. Dr. J is putting all of his skills on display on the court, so it looks fun. I was actually mentioning to somebody that I was watching the film with that the Pisces, their basketball court, their actual home court. Like, if I had enough money, that would be the home court in my house, and it would be Aries, but it was that fly. It was dope. Fly.
Yeah, it was dope. I think just another piece of trivia, because they just celebrated a wedding anniversary. I believe this is where Norm Nixon and Debbie Allen met.
This is exactly where they met. That is exactly Norm Nixon, who plays one of the Los Angeles team that the Pisces have to play for the championship. And was a noted basketball star on his own right. Right. But him and Debbie Allen, this is the film where they met. And Debbie Allen, I will have to say, and we've chronicled Debbie Allen before, and we both are huge Debbie Allen fans. In a small role, she is another one of the better parts of this film. She's funny, she's effervescent, she lights up the screen when she comes on. I actually enjoyed her a great deal in the movie.
Oh, Debbie Allen is I mean, frankly, I still don't know if anyone has really done justice to Debbie Allen.
Yeah, same here.
Like she was on Fame for years, and one of my patented rants. I have a whole Fame, the television show, rant where part of it is how they defanged Debbie Allen. Mm-hmm. and kind of sand it down, which what made her so amazing in the film.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, everywhere Debbie Allen shows up, it's just a joy. Like one of my dreams after the Cosby Show ended, I wanted she and Felicia Rashad to have a show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, you know, playing sisters. She shows up on an episode of the Cosby Show, and she's really good with Felicia Rashad. Like they bounce off of each other really well. And yeah, I'm a big Debbie Allen fan.
See, it's funny you say that, because while I have enjoyed seeing Debbie Allen in front of the camera, I actually was always more delighted that she was someone who pretty much in the prime of her career kind of moved to behind the scenes and directing and producing. Because it was like she early on, you know, figured it out. Like, oh, this is where the power is. And let's face it, for an actress, this is where the longevity is, you know? So I actually kind of like just knowing that she was behind the scenes doing beast work.
You know? Oh, you're right. Yeah. I mean, and she's a good director. But I am a big fan of Debbie Allen, the performer, and I've always been. Like we were talking before the review, she was in the musical version of Raisin, which I've never seen, but I have the original cast recording, and you know, her charm and her charisma and all of it come across even on the songs.
Okay.
So that, you know, from day zero, and then you know, we've joked about this, but like, you know, she was on that episode of Good Times. Right. Like everywhere that she shows up, it's a bright spot.
Amen.
Yeah.
So would you recommend that people see?
Look, man. Yes. Everyone should see The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh. And if you get angry at me about it because it's not a quote unquote good movie.
Well, it's no Space Jam.
I mean, it's not. It's not Space Jam. I think like, I don't think Michael Jordan is the greatest actor in Space Jam, but compared to Dr. J in this, you see why Space Jam became Space Jam. But you know, I will say this: if you don't see it, I do think it's worth it to look up the Silvers performance on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
And it's a great soundtrack. But look, I say see it. It makes me very happy.
There you
go. So yes, I would say see it. Lynn, boo, boo, boo.
Well, you called it. All the best parts are on YouTube. You can go see the Silvers. You can go see Dr. J in his armbands and his sweater. All the best parts are on YouTube. You can even see Debbie Allen. All the best parts are on YouTube. So just go see, you know, just go to YouTube and just watch those videos, and you'll see all that there is to see of The Fish That Saves Pittsburgh.
Ooh, to Lynn.
Anyway, until
Dr. Channing's greatest role is like 6 degrees of separation and The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh.
Yep. That's what she leads with.
When's the last time you think Dr. Channing and Dr. J been in the same place?
It's been quite some time. When's the last time Dr. J been in the same place as Margaret Avery? I bet she walked on the other side of the room too.
Here's the funny thing: when Margaret Avery and Dr. Channing, who I believe, it seems like they do travel in the same circle.
Mm-hmm.
When they run into each other, do you think they acknowledge this film? Like, do you think like they're at like Tony Awards and stuff? Like, it's like some opening of some great play, and they run into each other. Do you think they talk about the fish that saved Pittsburgh?
So
Margaret Avery. They're like at black tie events.
So Stockard, how do you know Margaret? McDonald's. We met at McDonald's.
Oh, we came up together. We were in a small production of Cat on the Hot Tin Roof. We did some off-Broadway work together.
Our children had the same dentist. Yeah. Yeah, they've got code. They've definitely got code.
Right. The fish that saved Pittsburgh is like the Fight Club on their resume. I don't care, Lynn. I love this movie. I don't care what you say.
That's good, Vince. Congratulations. Before we tell you what we're going to be watching next week, ladies and gentlemen, on May I Have Another, we invite you to send all of your feedback. Email us at themicheauxmission@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts and concerns. Follow us on all the social media, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Micheaux Mission. The Micheaux Mission is available as a podcast as part of the Podglomerate Podcast Network, thepodglomerate.com, curated podcast for your listening pleasure. You can check out the Micheaux Mission as a podcast on Podglomerate, on MicheauxMission.com, and any place and every place that you find podcasts, including Apple, Spotify, Stitcher Radio, Google Play, Overcast. If there's some place you find podcasts, you'll find the Micheaux Mission. And if you don't find us, then tell them, hey, why y'all sleeping on the Micheaux Mission? Put it here too.
That's right.
And wherever you find it, please do us a favor and give us a 5-star rating and a review, because that helps other people find our show. The Micheaux Mission is also available as a radio show every Saturday at 1 p.m. on WPPM, 106.5 FM, Philly Cam, people-powered media here in the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection. And you can wake up with the Micheaux Mission every Monday morning at 9 a.m. on WKDU 91.7 FM, the voice of Drexel University. All right, Vince. Next week it's my turn to choose a film.
As we begin, Mother May I.
As we continue our trek through May.
As Mother we begin, May, yes,
we select another film that has not garnered much praise and is not considered a classic of Black cinema, but Vince and I will be the judge. As next week, we sit down to watch Cedric the Entertainer take his brood on a Johnson family vacation.
Oh, interesting. Have you seen this?
I've not seen this film.
Interesting.
All I know is that his wife is played by Vanessa Williams, and his son is played by one Bow Wow.
And his daughter is played by Solange Knowles.
Oh, that's right. And Solange Knowles plays his daughter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's right.
That's interesting. You think there's a Mother May I film. I believe you may be wrong 2 weeks in a row, Mr. Webb. But we shall see. Shan't we?
We shall see. Until then, ladies and gentlemen, he's Vince and I'm Len. And in parting, we say,
we'll see you when it's time to meet again.